Hello everyone. In this video lecture, I will cover what is JVM, what is JRE, what is JDK, and what is bytecode. JDK I have already covered in previous video lectures. I will brief you about the JVM, the architecture of JVM, what is JRE, and what is bytecode in this video lecture. So what is JVM? JVM basically a full form of JVM is Java Virtual Machine. It is actually an abstract machine. It is It is a specification that provides the runtime environment in which Java bytecode can be executed. Whenever you are compiling your Java code, it converts into .class file. That .class file is called as a bytecode. That bytecode is interpreted by this Java virtual machine, and you will and you get the output of your bytecode. This basically bytecode is interpreted by JVM. This JVM are available for many hardwares and many softwares. Whenever you require to execute bytecode for any hardware and for any software, you must need JVM to be installed on that particular hardware to execute the bytecode. Basically, JVM is available inside the Java Runtime Environment, JRE, and JRE is available inside the JDK. JDK is basically a software that we have installed in previous video lectures. That software having one folder, that is a JRE, that is your Java Runtime Environment, and it actually contains the JVM. And these three are the basically platform dependent things. Now platform dependent, that means you require a different source code of that particular things for the different platforms. You require a different source code for Linux operating system. You require a different source code for Windows machine. You require a different source code for the Mac machine. If you require a different source code, then that particular thing is called as a platform dependent thing. JVM, JRE, and JDK, these three are the platform dependent thing. But the Java is basically platform independent. Why it is platform independent, that I will tell you when I will teach you the bytecode in this video. Right? The JVM basically loads the code, it verifies the code, and it executes the code, and it provides the runtime environment for the execution of Java code. JVM provides definition for the memory area, class file format, register set, garbage collected heap, and fatal error reporting in our Java execution. When the basic implementation of JVM is basically called as a JRE. That means an implementation of JVM is basically called a Java Runtime Environment, JRE. Whenever you are executing your Java class by using the command Java then class name, we are using the command Java then class name. At that time, Java then class name. Then we are pressing the enter to execute the Java source code, Java bytecode .class file. So this is the command to execute it. So whenever you are executing it, basically the instance of this JVM is created. So whenever you write Java command on your command prompt to run the Java class, the instance of JVM is created. Now this is the architecture of the JVM. Class loader, then memory area allocated by the JVM. JVM allocates this many memory areas for class area, heap area, stack area, PC register area, native method stack, execution engine, native method interfaces, Java native libraries. These all are connected with each other. And all having some specific work inside the JVM. Let's talk about the specific work of this memory areas. What is the purpose of each and every memory area, and what is the purpose of execution engine, how execution engine works in JVM. First of all, class loader. Class loader is basically loads the dot class file for the execution. The class loader is a subsystem of JVM that is used to load the class file, because whenever we are writing the command java then space then class name, that dot class file basically loaded by this class loader portion of the JVM. In memory area, first area was class and method area. Class and method area stores the class structure such as runtime, constant pool, fields, method data, the code for the methods. We will create the data fields, and we will create the methods inside the class. When we will call when we will code inside the Java, at that time you will see the class having some constants, some functions, function having again the parameters. This all the things about the class and method are stored inside the class method area. This heap memory area. Now it is the runtime data area in which objects are allocated. We will use one keyword, new keyword, to create the object of the class. Whenever we are creating a new keyword, it always create the object's runtime. This runtime memory allocation is done inside the heap memory. That means objects and arrays of the Java stores inside the heap memory area because it generates the memory at runtime. Stack memory area, Java stack stores the frames. It is kind of frames. It holds the local variable and partial results and plays a parts inside method invocation and returns. Whenever you are calling the function, your data are stored inside one frame, and this frame is called as a stack frames, and it is stored inside the stacks. And when function returns, it again automatically pop from the stack. So the data which is required to call the functions and data written from the function, for that you need something to be pushed, and something when function returns you have to pop that data that you have already pushed. For that actually it uses the stack memory structure, and that frames are basically stored inside the stack. Each thread has private JVM stacks. Java basically creates the threads. So when thread is going to be created, at the same time the stack memory is created for that particular threads. For each thread there is one stack frame. A new frame is created each time a method is invoked. Whenever you are calling the function, the one frame is created when you call the function. Function invocation always creates one frame. A frame is destroyed when function returns. That means the invocation of function completes. Another area inside the memory was program counter register, PC register. This PC register basically contains the address of the Java virtual machine instruction currently being executed. You have the lots of line of code. Whenever you are executing your program, your execution pointer available on some particular line. That line's address space is basically stored inside the program counter. So it is basically machine instruction. Your program first convert into machine code, and the current line execution address is stored inside this program counter basically. That means this Java virtual machine stores the machine instruction currently being executed. Native method stack, it basically contains all native methods used inside the application. All the native methods are stored inside it. And last, about the execution engine. This execution engine contains the three parts. First is a virtual processor. It basically used to process the data. Second is interpreter. The basic things of the work of the interpreter is basically it stream the bytecode and execute each and every instruction. It streams the bytecodes and it executes the instruction. And third part is just-in-time compiler, JIT compiler. It is a part of the JVM and it is used to improve the performance of Java runtime system. Whenever we are talking about the interpreter and compiler, we are always getting the result of a compiler execution result of a compiler execution speed of the compiler fast compared to interpreter. This Java runtime environment using the concept of JIT compiler. This JIT compiler works basically like a compiler, but it execute the it do not execute whole code at the same time. It basically fetch the code with line by line instead of whole code. That's why it's called as a just-in-time compiler. Just-in-time compiles part of the bytecode, then have a similar functionality at the same time, and hence reduce the amount of time needed for the compilation. Here is the term compiler. It refers to translator from the instruction set to Java virtual machine to the instruction set of the specific CPU.